Yeah, maybe? Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played between two high-level players. We've got Pixel playing 5e, and we've got Mikhail Filitov playing 5e. So we'll cover the deck reviews for 5e, and then we'll... oh, I forgot to call it 5easy. Right, so a bit of an interesting deck review today, because obviously they're playing the same division. So... it's interesting. Interesting. So like this is how so 5e it got nerfed. The slot costs got nerfed, and it's still a great div, right? So this is how I build it, and then this is how these guys build it. So we'll start with Mikhail's because he's at the top, and he's got 2 cards of supply, bunch of like he's not got that much infantry at all. He's only got 5 cards of infantry, and I suppose this isn't really infantry. So he's got 4 cards of infantry. Although I suppose this is infantry. So he... anyway, so he's going light on the infantry, and yeah, it's just chasseurs, and we might as well, so chasseurs are... So this thing's very cost efficient, like, because the warrior's like 40 points now, right? Yeah. So the French one's pretty cost efficient. For 10 points less, you get, the 20mm is not as good as the 30mm, and it's not as fast. It's got no MMG, which doesn't really matter. And it's got 1 less side armor. But it's 10 points less. But it is a little slower. But it is very, very cost efficient in terms of just getting a gun onto the target. Do you know what I mean? For 30 points, that's not so bad. Anyway. I wouldn't say very, very cost efficient. I'd say 1 times very cost efficient. And... yeah, so... in general, the way 5e is supposed to be played, well, you can play it lots of different ways, but you basically do some sort of aggressive opener, either with the Commando Super Puma drop, the AMX Blindées. These are like wheeled tanks, sort of. I mean, it's basically what they are. It's got very good optics, it's got a really nice pen on it, and so it really, really messes people up, messes up vehicles a lot. Because they don't see you, and then you kill them, and then you just drive away, because you're very fast. But not as fast as it used to be, I think. Anyway, still quite fast. And then this is just the not as good version. So, yeah, you do like an aggressive opening, and like Gazelle Cannons and stuff really good as well. Surprised they've not vetted them, actually. We'll talk about that. And then you swap into just spamming out tanks and IFBs for the rest of the game. You get your RT up, so you hit them with the RT, and Bob's your uncle. So, the way I play it, right, and I've noticed neither of them have done this. Sorry, it's just a bit weird, because I'm used to just going through one, then going through the other, but they're the same, so we might as well compare them. The Gazelle Cannon, both of them have brought the Gazelle Cannon at 1 vet. So, this accuracy... and autocannons got nerfed in the last patch, so these aren't as ridiculous as they used to be, but they're still pretty ridiculous. This accuracy is the chance of 1 round hitting out of 10. So when you vet it, it goes up a lot, because you're getting plus 5%, you're getting plus 8%, wow, plus 8%. You're getting plus 8% accuracy per shot. And I'm just going to assume this calculation is correct. Statistically speaking, that would almost double your chances of hitting them. And it reduces the aim time. So the way I play 5e is I bring these at 2 vet, and I would suggest everybody to try bringing them at 2 vet. So neither of these players have brought them at 2 vet. You see I bring it at 2 vet. And you can do a very funny opener with Recon Helo, all 4 Gazelle Cannons, or 3, plane to cover them, and then a couple Super Puma Commandos. So you could do like a full, many heli deploy. Sometimes I open 2 Mirages, then your ground presence is really quite low. Because the thing is that the enemy's probably expecting a ground rush from the AMX-10s. Well, they're both called AMX-10. The AMX-10RC. There's 3 AMX-10s. There's the AMX-10P IFV, the AMX-10 Hot shooty thing, which presumably is based off the IFV chassis, if that's got the same name. And then there's the AMX-10 Blindée, which is obviously not the same chassis. But in terms of this, Yeah, it does kind of look similar to the... Yeah, it's the same chassis, it's just got a different gun on it. Apparently 10 is the weight, it's 10 metric tons. And so they're just both 10 metric tons, and that's why they... It's obviously a really dumb idea. So yeah, there's four things that could be the AMX-10 here. Well, I mean, because if you consider these the same, got these, the CV, the IFV, and the ATGM launcher. So, yeah. Anyway, tried it too then. It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun in the opener. Because they're usually expecting a ground-based opener of Dragon Paras and Blindées, so they tend not to bring that much AA. Or you could just do the ground-based opener, and that's the real versatility of this div, is you can just play it however you want. You can inf spam, you can tank spam, you can air spam, you can arty spam, because the Alf 1's really good. What I have noticed is Mikhail upvets his Alf 1. I don't like doing that, because if you get two of them, you can kill a tank. Like a heavy tank with 3 top armor. If you've got corrected shot and what have you, you can burst down a tank and kill it really fast. I bring more arty than most people. But the advantage, I mean, if you want to kill an ATGM, you only need one. So if you're not concerned about trying to kill enemy tanks with artillery, I don't know, I just really like the gun. I like having two of them. But he's only got 2 cards of supply, so he honestly can't afford to keep 2 of these firing all game. So maybe it makes sense. And then he's upvetted his mortar by 1. I don't think it's worth it, frankly. So most of the because like, what if it dies? Do you know what I mean? Also, what if it runs out of ammo and you don't want to resupply it because you've only got 2 cards of supply? You could buy another one. So I don't see the advantage in upvetting it. Because, yeah, it reduces the aim time very, very slightly. It doesn't really matter because most of the mortar's time is that arc when it's in the air. And the rounds don't go faster if you up it, unfortunately. But yeah, not a whole lot of infantry. I find this it's very unforgiving to play it this way. Because if you run out of why do you need 10 Guerrillian ATGMs? Because, like, that's a 3-point slot. So if you get rid of this one, and downvet this one, then you can get more infantry. So, I mean, it's just an idea, right? Like, what happens if you get up to a town? You don't have any satchels. So you should get some satchels, in my humble opinion. And I'd bring them in the truck. Yeah, sorry I'm a bit all over the place, but yeah, this is... I don't think I've cast a mirror before. Anyway, his opponent brings the downvetted Alf 1 and the downvetted mortars. Has still only got 2 cards of supply. Now, Mikhail here has opted for 2 sets of trucks, which I think is the better way of doing it, frankly, in a 1v1. Whereas Pixel's opted for a helo and a truck, so the idea is the helos resupply the trucks. But in a 1v1, I'd rather have the trucks, especially given that this is like one of the best supply cards in the game. It's 30 points for 750 with 8 HP and 65 kilometers an hour speed. Whereas if you look at this, what was it, Tarask? Well, whatever. It's slower, it has less HP. So, you know, it's worse. 30 points is nice for 750 supply, because, like, you know, like, this is obviously 1,000, and it's 40 points. So you're not losing any cost efficiency on the 30-point one, because it's 10 points per 250 supply. And, you know, it's cheaper, so you can spread them out a bit more. And it's got more, like, the French one has more HP than this, even though it's a bigger truck, right? So, bit of a weird one, but there it is. Anyway. Yeah. So, the other thing is, bring in both cards of Blindées. I don't do that. Or both cards of RCs. I just bring one. Because I find that, like, they are really useful at the start of the game, but once the enemy starts getting stuff up to deal with them, then they become less useful. They're still very nice defensively, and you can sneak one around the side, so it's whatever you want, really. But yeah, I like having 2 cards of infantry recon, whereas, so yeah, like, both of these guys bring both RCs, and they just upvet them both. So they're both upvetted. VBL Rico, so this is like the Homelander strat. I've not seen Homelander recently, I guess he got bored. I think he's playing Broken Arrow or something. But yeah, this used to be a lot more spammable, and you would just YOLO it down a road, like, with a bunch of VB... Like, this used to be like 30 points cheaper or something, it was very silly, and more available, and so you would just spam these out. It's very good optics and good stealth. I don't see the advantage, really. I'd much rather have the Alouette. I mean, a 50 cal is nice, I suppose. And with one armor at the start of the game, you can run some people down, and it is super fast, 90 kilometers an hour. But I'd rather have either this for the tanks, to give the tanks exceptional optics, or this, because it's got an ATGM on it, and good stealth. And then you don't, like, because basically, this is, if the game goes past 20 minutes, this guy's fucked, basically. Because he's not actually got that many tanks because he max vets them, and he's not actually got that much infantry, so it's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, so in terms of like other different, so Pixel has built it in a much more sort of what I would consider a normal way. I mean, it's basically exactly the way I build it. Oh no, I don't bring any infantry ATGMs because I feel like this is enough. Whereas Mikhail brings the infantry ATGMs and 3 cards of vehicle ATGMs, which is quite weird to me. But yeah, I just bring loads of infantry. Lots of chasseurs in the AMX 10P, quite cost efficient, Super Puma Commandos, Rare Deer, Voltigos, Atlas, and I do bring the group anti-char, because it's nice to mix one of these in with the chasseurs, and you know, send it around the sides and stuff. And I do bring a lot of these tanks. And I bring the Roan 3 and the Roan 2. This, the Tarrasque is a lot worse than it used to be. And I feel like if you need Spag at the start of the game, might as well bring this, right? It's obviously a lot more expensive, but it's got smoke. And it's got the same gun on it, with the same stats, but it's faster, and it's got smoke. And it's only 5 points more, but the issue is you got to bring it with the Minstrel. It makes it more expensive. And yeah, I bring the Roan 3s and the Roan 2s instead of the Tarrasque, basically. This thing got cheaper. It should really have smoke, I think. I think it's got, like, I think this is a smoke launcher. And this is a smoke launcher, and that's a smoke launcher, and that's a smoke launcher. So I think it should have smoke. But it got cheaper. So maybe it's good now, but I don't know. The DPS is quite low. It's quite low. So yeah, we've got one player bringing everything up vetted, more or less, and one player bringing most things down vetted. The only weird part about this deck is this. So the VCI... What? I just pressed the wrong thing. The VCI 20mm. So it's 30 points, right? But so you see that the AMX 10P used to be 35. Now it's 30. So for the same price, you can get something which doesn't have smoke. And is slower. And it isn't amphibious, for all that matters. So I don't see a point in that at all. And when you're using the sappers, you want them to get there fast so they can do their thing. So I don't think this is a good idea, really. And also, I would definitely bring them at 1 vet, because sappers, like satchels at no vet, are kind of useless. On second UK, you have to bring them at no vet, because like Terrier sappers or what have you. Whereas these guys, I mean, it's just... because they got to run up to people to satchel them. And if you're at no vet, you lose all your cohesion running up to them. So, and then you just rout or whatever. You don't kill them. So I prefer bringing them at 1 vet, and you only lose 3. And frankly, it just makes them like twice as useful, basically, in my opinion. But yeah, loads of ATGMs here. The AMX 10P per LAN is sort of like a... it's like a proper IFV because it's got the Milan on it. It's a shame there's no French division with the, you know, the AMX 10P Milan as like a regular infantry thing. Just an idea. I think it was something to do with the history lobby people, but I don't know for sure. And then, yeah, you don't need 10 Roland, so I'd definitely be up vetting this. And we spoke about the Gazelle Cannon. Gazelle Hot 1 instead of Gazelle Hot 2. Do they both bring that? No, so the Gazelle Hot 1, so this will one-shot 8 armor, which is like, you know, not many things. I suppose like side armor on basically any tank. As this will one-shot 10 armor, which is what's a T-55? Oh, so they made it 11, of course. Suppose there aren't many things that are like 9 armor. Well, yeah, the entire Leopard 1 line. So this would get one-shot by a Leopard, by a Hot 1. But this would get one-shot by a Hot 2. I just prefer the more expensive one, because it does more damage. And I like it when my helicopters kill people. The advantage of the cheaper one is that it is cheaper and you get more of them. But it's not that much cheaper. The other thing is that, so obviously this is going to like get hit by a plane. Whereas if this gets hit by a plane and then you kill the plane, well, it's just a better trade because you've still got more of these. But yeah, given that like, he already has 4 cards of ATGMs here, you might as well bring the more expensive one and just have a few fewer ATGMs that are actually better. Like, this is a lot of ATGMs. I do wonder if he needs all those ATGMs, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm sorry this was a bit of a weird deck review, but you know, it's just an interesting comparison, right? So this guy doesn't bring a whole lot of stuff. He just wants the game to end early. He's got the sort of same number of ATGM cards, but they're in different places. And you'll notice that neither player brings like the seed plane. The way I play it, I bring the seed, bring the HE, bring the AT, because the AT cluster. So the Jaguar HE, this can sometimes kill a tank if it drops right on it, because it's a dive bomber. Always, sometimes. If it's got 3 top armor, it's kind of rare, but 2 top armor, it tends to kill it, if you get a proper good shot off on it. Now, the AT plane, like, the advantage of it is that it's got 3 availability, despite being a really nice missile. And so you just shoot 1 and then evac. And then you can, like, use 2 at once, coming from the sides, you get 3 of them. This will obviously, it will probably kill the tank, right? It's just 20% ECM, it's got to get right over the target, you only get 2 of them, right? And this even reloads faster, because if you only fire 1 missile, it's going to be back in 30 seconds, so I vastly prefer this. And then I bring the seed plane, whereas these guys just kind of stack bombers, right? So Pixel here, he's just brought more bombers. Don't bring this. Anyways, let's talk about the game. Let's play the game. Let's watch the game. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the matchup. So from the deck reviews, Mikhail Filitov has massively upvetted his tanks. Like, he doesn't bring that many tank cards. He brings fewer tank cards, and he brings them at 2 vet. So if this game goes late, he's gonna lose. But for the early game, he should have an advantage. And he doesn't have that much infantry. But for the early game, he should have an advantage in that he's got loads of 2 vet tanks. As for Pixel, he's got a much more traditional 5e build, much more similar to mine. In terms of the map, it is blue favored, because you get this nice thing, this nice thing, this nice thing. What I will say is that these are better if you've got toes or conkers, because Milans have 2,450 meters range, which means that if the guy's coming down this road and turning, you're not actually going to be able to hit him, because it'll shoot and then it'll just immediately lose its tracking. Whereas the conkers can, you know, shoot from further away and just tends to get the hits more. Like, you know, here as well, right? And back here, yeah, like the Milan just wouldn't be useful. But generally you put stuff up here though. So this is not as useful if you've only got a Milan rather than a Conkers. Anyway, looking at the deployments, we've got Pixel here. He's opening Dragon Paras to Papa, AMX-10RC to Papa, Eclairs to the tall building, right, and then the truck which has a gun on it is going over here, and the RC is going to here, shoot stuff coming down the road. And then commandos, aerial commandos to Papa, aerial commandos to X-ray, Eclairs to the, you know, these grain silos, super useful for vision, not just for ATGMs. And then a CV for Oscar, Oscar mid. And it's kind of weird that he's passed it into the forest, but whatever. He clearly wants to try and get that up into X-ray. Then we've got P4 BC Milan. She's putting it there. Because, you know, Conkers could shoot from back here. But a Milan wouldn't... If he's over here, you know, the Conkers could shoot and the Milan wouldn't be able to. So it doesn't matter. And then another ATGM, Milan 1. And then 2 AMX-30B2s. They are at 1 vet, but the CV is buffing them up. And the CV is going India Papa. Switching to his opponent's deployment, we've got Mikhail Filitov here. And he is opening a lot more similarly to how I open. Except he's brought his Gazelle Cannons at 1 vet instead of 2 vet. So we spoke about this in the deck review. Basically, you double the accuracy and you lower the aim time, which at the start of the game matters a lot when you're hitting the enemy stuff coming down the road. If you aim in half a second less, it's going to make a big difference. You know, you might kill him inside the transport. And, you know, he's only opened 4, so you get 6 if you have it at 1 vet. You get 4 if you get it at 2 vet, which is why you should bring it at 2 vet, basically, because you still get your 4 for your opener. And obviously you don't get any later, but it does make them a lot better. Almost doubles the accuracy. Used to be even better before the autocannon rework, but I'm glad they reworked it. Anyway, he's got some eclairs going to here. He's going to the church because religious people can see further than atheists. Right? Atheistic dwelling, religious dwelling. Atheistic dwelling, religious dwelling. The issue is that farmers can see further than religious people. So yeah, this is the superior position. And then a tracked CV for Ligma. And a P4 Milan just hiding back here in case somebody decides to barrel down this road. Keep in mind the eclairs do have the LRAC, which is a very good rocket launcher. It's only got 15 pen, so it doesn't one-shot 2 armor, but it does one-shot 2 armor with like 8 HP, so like SPW-70s and stuff like that. I can't think of too many things with 2 armor and 10 HP. Generally, most like APCs and stuff that have 2 armor. Well, I suppose you could like say like the side armor on this, like this would survive an LRAC hit. But an SPW-70, it would die in 1 hit because it's got less HP. Anyway, yeah, and it's got like really nice accuracy, 6 rounds, nice range. Okay, nice accuracy, not really nice. Anyway, VBL Rico going to here. I don't really like that unit. Vastly prefer the one with the ATGM, I think, if I can remember correctly. Then P4 Milan, Vabma Pisto, so this does have the 2625 meters range. And then Chasseurs, AMX-30B, the Gazelle Cannon, so I think he's going to struggle against this Blindée. Because the only thing that can really shoot back, obviously these can, but the Blindée can see them and then just shoot them. We'll see what happens. Then we've got Commandos going straight for X-ray. Because the Gazelle Cannons are going to cover them, right? And the plane is going to cover them. You'll note that Pixel's gone for the Mirage FIC 200 opener plane, whereas Mikhail has gone for the cheaper plane. It is a lot cheaper. It is 70 points cheaper. Thing is, it is worse, right? But strangely enough, like this has more range. And it's fire and forget, which is pretty cool actually for that range. But it's only got 1, so that doesn't matter too much. So it's got more range, but you know this has more ECM. It's got more speed. It's got better missiles, like higher accuracies. Yeah. Anyway, so then we've got AMX-10P for Bravo Alpha and a P4 Milan coming down this road. So I'm not sure why he put it on this road and not on this road, given that it's going to sort of the same place. Oh, I guess because, yeah, he passed it here and he didn't realise that it's going to be going like that anyway. So. And then a Commandos for Alpha and a VBL Rico on Alpha. So he's quite thin on Alpha. And then this is... Okay, it's going a very funny way. So he's going to try and get it up to here, unload there, and then get it back. I mean, we'll see, because obviously Blindée is going to be here, so he's probably going to kill it. Let's find out. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos at a rate of 1 a week. So there's like 70 of those now, because I've been doing this for a while. This is my sole source of income as I try and finish my PhD. Got my final exam in like 1 to 2 months, and then probably get some corrections off that. So you expect the better plane to win. The thing is, it didn't, because Warno's RNG. Alright. So that's a great trade for Mikhail. The weird part is he didn't get his first shot of advantage off, right? Because he was turning the wrong way, he didn't actually get the first shot range advantage off, right? He could have shot from further away. Either way, first minute passes, and he immediately... Oh no, he bought 2 planes at the start. He just kind of microed them bad. So yeah, that died, which we kind of expected. Because yeah, that was... The minute hadn't passed, so he just bought 2 planes at the start. He just didn't send them both out at once, so... And then anyway, Pixel, the minute passes and he buys 2 planes. So these Gazelle Cannons should land. And this should evac, yeah, so... Because that's 260, so that's his whole opener. And yeah, I was going to say, this will probably die on the ground anyway, because 2 sets of guns shooting at it. So, yeah, the Blindée is trying to trade out the ATGM mass. Oh, no, never mind, shooting something else. And all the Gazelle Cannons are getting shot on the ground and what have you. He's only got 1 left now, because that died as well. So, yeah, I'm surprised Mikhail didn't buy another plane. He went for the Rowan 3 instead, so he's slowing down a bit. Because you got to think, like, what's my enemy going to do if I've got the plane? He's probably going to panic buy a fighter, so that what you do is you buy another fighter. So that's getting a bit silly, but it just depends what you want in life. So, yeah, massive ATGM wall here. He's already used his smoke. Looks like he's gonna... No, he just... Because of the range. It's because of the range, right? So, that's the issue with Milans on this map. They're just not as useful as Conkers and Totes on this map. So, Mephisto... Gonna get a side shot most likely. Gets a front shot. So that 24 pen should have one-shot that, actually, so I'm surprised it didn't. 24 pen should one-shot 10 armor, right? Pretty sure it should. So, it must have missed, because, like, near misses still deal damage. So it must have missed by a very little bit. He's got his thing set to aggressive, so they're, like, automatically smoking and stuff. I don't like doing that. Anyway, AMX-10P gets hit by the RC, and presumably. But yeah, this is why I always like putting an infantry unit here, because if blue gets down, you know, to here basically, or even just there, like there, you've lost this zone if the enemy decides to attack it, which he is doing. Having said that, you know, red's winning in mid. Gazelle Cannon stood up, but the Mirages are still around, so that's a dead Gazelle Cannon, and so he buys another Gazelle. Now he's got his plane out, but it's 1 versus 2. And, oh no, the Roland is there. And the Rowan gets the hit. So, yeah, Pixel just getting outmaneuvered a little bit there. And then the Roland, okay, gets the hot 2, but the Roland, oh, it fired 2 missiles. So I don't actually think this hit. This must have hit twice or whatever. Anyway, interesting thing about the AMX-10, we were speaking about in the deck review, is that it's amphibious. And this is probably the only map in rotation where that actually matters. So there you go, he's using it because if he drove it over here, you know, he'd get shot. So he doesn't know if there's like a Blindée there, it might be an immediate kill. So he's using the amphib. I think he should invest in some artillery. Like a mortar if he can't afford the big one, but, you know, because he knows there's somebody in here. All the ATGMs. But I guess what he really should be doing is reinforcing this. So maybe artillery in a couple of minutes. Looks like he's doing the smart thing. So Vab Milan. So that's just a wheeled Milan carrier. Whereas Pixel prefers the AMX-10P Milan, which is a tracked ATGM carrier. They've both got bad stealth. This one's cheaper. 35 points. Whereas this is for... I mean, it's got armor, right? And it's not actually that much slower. But yeah, the wheelie boys... Wheeled used to be a lot better than tracked, and then they kind of upped the speed. Which was probably a good thing, really, because the tracked guys just couldn't compete. Lots of other things have changed, though, like Vision's gotten better, so slower divs are actually better now than they've ever been, because Vision got better. But then autocannons got nerfed, right, so... Swings and roundabouts, as they say. Anyway, both sides content to just sit here. I mean, Mikhail, he's on the +2, right, so Pixel has to do something. If I was Pixel, I'd be pushing this, but... You know, by the time his guys get there, it's not going to be possible. The other thing is, like, where are the smoke mortars? Smoke mortars are a must on this map, because if you actually want to get down here, you know, you're always going to get shot from here and here, and it's the same on the other side. If you're trying to get down here, you're going to get shot from here and here, and presumably there as well. So it's good to have a smoke mortar, and you just smoke mortar there. Or here, depending on which side you're on. And if you just smoke mortar there, then you can just come down this road, no problem, because, like, I suppose, like, maybe there? Yeah, it's harder from this side, because this is kind of you know, smoke like there. Depending on how wide the cloud is. Anyway, looks like Pixel wants to push both sides, maybe? I don't know, he's not really made his mind up. So he sent some guys here, some guys here. But yeah, he's lost the... You know, there's no momentum, so it's going to be a tough ask. He has got the RT piece, though, so he can start hitting some of these positions. That Milan 2 probably used to be there. Or like he saw it unload and assumed it went into there, but actually it hasn't. It's just in a dumb spot where it can't do anything. But that's actually going to save it. Anyway, this thing's really good, because it fires 6 rounds in a salvo. Well, to be honest, that can be a bit detrimental. But yeah, it is good. And what he should do now is move it up while it's reloading. Because it can't fire for the next 55 seconds anyway. So instead of shooting again and then moving, he should move and then shoot. The other thing you can do is interrupt the salvo. The issue with interrupting the salvo is that next time you give a fire position order and a move order, it will fire that rest of the half salvo, whatever's left, and then it will sit there and reload and then fire a whole other salvo and then move. So you got to really babysit it if you want to do that, because you'll get caught out and then you'll get counter batteried, and also, you know, you'll just be wasting a whole salvo because he will have moved after you shoot 3 rounds at him, or he'll be dead, right? Or he's an idiot. That could happen. Anyway, is that going to smoke? No, because it was on aggressive before. It's already used it. So that's the issue with having these things on defensive or aggressive. But, you know, you got to be realistic with yourself. Like, am I going to pay attention? Is it better to just make sure I always have a save, basically? Because basically the way it works is it would always shoot. So, big attack from Pixel here on 2 flanks. So that, I guess that was the plan, to attack in both places at once. Now it's just a micro thing, so it's easier for Mikhail, because all he has to do is kind of sit here and retreat a bit, whereas Pixel, he's got to micro these 2 blobs. So far, Blue is mainly doing the killing here. The AMX-10P blob's doing some work, but yeah, like, look, he didn't smoke that one, because he's not paying attention. Roland 2. Fires twice and hits once. This guy needs to unload. Blimey. Yep, there it goes. And looks like he's going to take mid. In the meantime, so Mikhail, he's put a few guys here. That Mirage is back. It's just going to strafe some guys. I don't know about that. Yeah, I wasn't very smart. This has only got 10% ECM. Looks like he's going to get away, though, because, you know, they've only got 1 missile. And, yeah, Roland 3 beats Roland 2, right, because of the range. So now he's going to fly over that AA again. He's realised his mistake, but he's probably going to die here. Yeah, so if he had curled this way, it would have been fine. So that was kind of not very intelligent. But anyway, that was a really good bombing run. That killed 3 and just wounded 1 there. He loses the bomber, but I think that was probably worth it. Although, well, okay, it would have been worth it if he had, like, more stuff here to immediately capitalize on it. Like, he got 3 units, but he still can't fix this. What I will say is that these guys don't have AT, but the race car will presumably finish this off. Although he's got to be careful, because the Appalachian is in there, and that will really mess this guy up. But yeah, depending on how this is maneuvered, like if it came around here, it could kill it, I guess, but... Bit of a weird one there, because he killed all the AT infantry. On this side, yeah, so Blindée went down, presumably to this RC, but looks like Pixel's taken both lanes for his troubles. Alpha 1, so this is an upverted Alpha 1, so it shoots faster. So, we'll talk about artillery. That was probably the worst time to buy artillery, because now he's, you know, Now he's lost all, basically most of his front line. But he couldn't, presumably he bought it just before the attack started, and so he wouldn't know. But yeah, I mean, what a turnaround. So Pixel's on the +4 now. And it's rough for Red, because as we know from the deck review, which he didn't skip, most of his tanks are upverted. And so if this goes late, he's going to lose anyway, because his opponent's got more tanks, more infantry as well. And more artillery. And so, because this is not upverted, whereas this is, so... So, yeah, and I think more planes. The perils of upverting. So it's really bad for Red now, because he has to try and push back in. And, I mean, I suppose he's still got most of his AMX-30B2s. Like, he hasn't bought them yet, so he's still got a bunch of tanks left. And his tanks are 2-vet. It's just, in general, now it's a bit of an uphill struggle. And the later the game goes, the worse it's going to be for him. So, I don't like bringing the majority of my stuff at 2-vet. I just don't think it's... I do it on, like, 2nd UK's infantry tab with all the air mobile stuff. Because you basically, because it's like classed as like pseudo airborne air mobile, they get a rank of vet for free on a lot of their units. Obviously the Terriers don't, right? But yeah, like those rocket lynxes and stuff, I bring those at 2-vet. And I do find myself running out towards the end of the game, but I don't run out of everything unless I play kind of badly. So yeah, anyway, Alf 1 opening up on the Milan 1. Whereas this Alf 1 opens up on where he thinks the Milan 2 is, but basically he just keeps running out of that building, essentially. And yeah, the Milan 1 goes down, the Dragon Powers go down, so this is the advantage of this. What you can also do is put CV next to it, but I guess the CV is needed for the front line. But yeah, this is looking pretty bad for Red, because it's a mirror, and he's behind. He's behind in a mirror. So it's not fantastic. In the meantime, looks like Pixel's going to reinforce Oscar a bit. Because he figures, well, it's probably what's going to happen. You know, it might push me here because he knows I'm here and what have you. So I think it's a smart idea. RC is Amphib. Is the Blindée Amphib? Have we got any Blindées left? No, the extra armor makes it not amphibious, apparently. So here we go. This is a very potent tank blob. And you see the recons at the front. The Milan 1 needs to run backwards, not forwards, really, because it's in tank gun range now, so it's just going to die. So that's really bad news for the Milan 1s of the world. But he's focusing the tanks down for now. It's just, because this was running forwards instead of backwards, like, this should smoke, yeah. So a lot of it is just, oh, that needs to smoke now. Well, he was about to shoot, but I guess I would have waited for that shot, and then probably died, so... Anyway, you see that the Milan 1, because the autocannons and what have you, it misses as well. It's only got 37% accuracy, apparently. Target switching going on here. Whoa, they all burst down the race car, they retreat into the smoke, but the smoke's just faded. The Brenners can probably tank that hit. Okay, the B2 pops its smoke to try and stop it, but yeah, it would have survived that hit, I think. But yeah, you can see all this because of the Dragon Paras. They've got exceptional optics when they're stood still. Which they are. That's why he's not moving them up, so we can keep those optics. And that was a good push from Red. He didn't lose any tanks, I think. I don't think he lost any. His opponent lost a lot of units there. So here we go, planes coming out. But the Roland 3s are still here. And so this is not a good idea. So he's aiming for the bomber, not the fighter. That's probably smart. That was quite fortunate, actually, that he hit that twice. But if it had kept coming this way, the Rolands would have killed it for sure, because there's 3 of them now. That's only got 20% ECM, and these have very nice accuracy. So, yeah, I think just sending those planes out was not a good move from Pixel. Obviously, he can't see this, but he should have known there was 2 Roland 3s here, because... they shot him before when he was over here, so he should know that I'm in the range of this. So, we're going to need a lot of supply to sort this out, and here it comes, and then infantry screening, recon... sorry, infantry screening, we've already got the recon. Another Milan 1 purchase, you'll see that this is on holding fire. Milan 1's probably going to sit there. The thing is, right, so he's got this on holding fire, so the enemy can't see it, most likely. Otherwise he probably won't be doing this. Oh! he turned off holding fire to shoot the Milan one. Well, that was a bit silly, because the tank... I was going to say he doesn't have to shoot it, because the tanks are going to come and kill it straight away. Because if they come in through here, then, you know, it wouldn't be able to shoot back before they're in tank gun range. I guess they're already in tank gun range. Chasseurs here end up going down because they get, you know, messed up. Which is not fantastic. And the arty comes in. The Artemis Partimus. It's just about how quickly you can react, right? Because it's going to fire 6 rounds, so you can't just be like, hopefully I get lucky, because if you just stay there, you will die. Anyway, it's like, yeah, some trades going on there. And, yeah, with the arty preparation, because this is the other thing, so if you attack when the arty's coming in, well then he's either moving, which means he shoots less good, and he's suppressed, and he's damaged. And so it's all about that synchronization, and that's something that really just comes with practice. The more you practice, the better you'll get. And you see this race car is really giving Pixel a lot of problems here. He's getting a lot of kills. I heard a Minstrel. Yeah, Minstrel takes out the Gazelle Hot too. And yeah, you see he's loco. He just shouldn't be fighting. So is he going to smoke now? He might have already used it. Oh, everybody's missing. Okay, track's broken. And yeah, I think Red's managed to get a lot done with not too many units there. Obviously, the units were quite expensive, all the tanks and stuff. But he only sent 2 out in this tranche. The rest are all repairing or just sitting around. He's got fuel activated, so he's gonna. So if you've only got 2 cards of supply, and even if you have 3, you need to remember to deactivate fuel and just don't give them fuel unless they're literally about to run out, and you're like, well, okay, I need this guy to keep moving around. Because for the most part, units tend not to use... very bad units tend to run out of fuel quite quickly, like cheaper units. Tends to be the case. That's a rough rule. Like, older units typically seem to have less fuel efficiency. I'm not sure how accurate that is, right? But anyway, this is kind of ballsy, because if there was an Appelas in here, you know, this would all be dead. Instead, there's a Mirage flying over the Rolands. Looks like he'll get out, because there's only one Roland 3 and the Roland 2s didn't have the range. But yeah, there's just an L-rack, and the arty was coming in. So he manages, and I guess he doesn't really have the time, so sort of has to do this. That Gazelle Hot's going to be an issue. Oh, okay, the Rolands. Yeah, Roland 3 gets it. In the meantime, the AMX-10 here was taken out, and there's another sort of remask coming on over here. He's bought the second cluster. But the Rolands, man, he knows about the Rolands because they keep shooting him. Like, look at that. He's getting good accuracy on those Rolands, but he does have a lot of Rolands, so... Oh, that's a high-altitude cluster. Ugh, it's such a bad plane. I thought it was a low-altitude cluster. Anyway, got the CV. But yeah, it's a high-altitude cluster, so it's even worse than I thought it was. I thought it was a dive cluster. Or a medium-range cluster, but no, it's a high-altitude cluster, so... It drops from high. Everything here is really fast, so it can move. Obviously, he did get the CV, right? Which means he's still on a +3. I guess the idea Pixel's going for is, I can win in 4 minutes, I can win in 4 minutes, I can win in 4 minutes. And so he's just kind of, you know, throwing things into the breach. But that's a great way to lose a game, basically. And, you know, what a turnaround it's been. You know, he's buying more helos now, but there's a Roland 3 there, which he knows about, because it shot his last helo. And you see the power of these AMX-10 RCs, because you just can't see them without the recon. So like the Blindée should be able to duel it, and it's just sat there just killing everything. It's killed like 3 units now, and he can't even see it. So it is, and it's about to kill a 4th. He must kill again. So the Blindée is trying to be brought up to deal with that, I suppose. In the meantime, Mikhail's doing his next attack, and he's realised that if you just attack move, they tend to start going sideways and what have you. So you see that, right? He's getting hit, but oh, I see that smoke. I was gonna say, why can't you see back over there? Because it wasn't in the forest or anything. Anyway, like this has completely shut down this push. But the infantry's got in, and then he'll bring in the CV, and if he comes down this road, he's not gonna make. So, do you see that ammo explosion crit there? It wouldn't have died. It wouldn't have died if it wasn't for that. Anyway, this needs to like go hide behind here, basically. He's going for the Gazelles, he doesn't have to, there's a Roland here. And yeah, the AA, there's plenty of AA. And the Blindée did take out the race car, so he's just doing it again. Is he going to curve the correct way this time? Yes, he is. He's still going to get hit for his troubles. So these guys need to turn off cover. You can bind that to a hotkey, and then just hide them right behind the buildings. Don't, you know, just hide them right behind the buildings. Smoke. Probably already used it. So, red's on a +1. But he has, like, massively... He's taken massive casualties. And this is, as soon as your AA shoots, you gotta move it. You gotta move it. Especially if you know the enemy has artillery on the field. Because, yeah, that's not fantastic. Like, this should probably be hidden as well. What? Oh, I see, but many. But many CVs. Okay, so... High altitude cluster, or medium altitude cluster, whatever. I suppose it's not as high as a tornado. Doesn't hit anything. Alright. So yeah, the West blockers there, it couldn't aim in time as they were going between the trees, going between the buildings, the concrete trees. And yeah, what a crazy game. Like, they're constantly attacking across two fronts. A bit risky sending the commandos this close, but yeah, there's no AA, there's no minstrels. CVs rotate. One's rotating out, one's rotating in. Roland 3s could be moved up, right? Put one here, put one like here or something. You don't want them too close to the buildings, but yeah, the upvetted Brenni are certainly winning the fights. Something we spoke about in the deck review that you didn't skip. So yeah, Puma dies. Commandos need to get, like, they just need to go straight into this forest, really. That if they just run towards that, they will die. But yeah, the Blindée is in an interesting spot. Jaguar HE got the P4 PC, but didn't kill the Blindée. And yeah, the Blindée here, so because there's no recon, you can't see it. Oh. Oh, he missed! Oh, he missed! Everybody's missing. Jaguar HE. Yeah, I don't know, this kind of... There's too many planes coming out from blue, especially with the preponderance of Rolands. Although, you know, there was a Roland here that got moved over here. It's just not in range anymore. So, one of the commandos did die. And yeah, you just gotta thread... Like, you gotta be in the forest. And this is why smoke mortars are so useful on this map. Like, so when you're attacking here, smoke there, and then all these guys can't... Oh, you smoke here. You smoke here from far enough away, and it'll bridge this. And then all these guys don't have to get shot, and then they can move up into this nice forest. Or if they're infantry, they can move up into the zone. Same here, you know. You want to smoke here, you want to smoke here. Really useful to smoke on this map. And both sides had smoke mortars. So, yeah, really interesting game. Proper back and forth. Like, Pixel, he had it, but he threw it all away. He was on a +4. He could have won in 4 minutes. Anyway, rank 72 versus rank 64. So, similarly matched players. This guy's been playing a lot of rank, so that's 251 games this season versus 40 games this season. 1,500 games total, 2,400 games total. Interesting. So yeah, I suppose the upvetted Alpha 1 did work out, especially if you've only got 2 cards of supply. But yeah, turning off the fuel, as soon as the supply comes in, turn off the fuel. So useful. So useful to get into that habit. The issue is, I mean, as you can see, these guys have played lots of games. And so when Warno, like, that's a recent feature. It took him about 3 years to put it in. So if you've been playing Warno since the start, which I know Mikhail has, I don't know about Pixel, probably if he's got that many games, then you've got into the habit of not doing that because it wasn't there. So you have to unlearn the bad behavior, basically, and just remember to turn off fuel. Makes that supply go that much further. Anyways, I'll see you in the next game. GG.